But you'd be surprised to what extent Jensen has created almost like a mental torture chamber that he lives inside of to motivate himself.
Wow.
I've never met anyone who's like, he just beats himself up every day. It's crazy. Yeah.
He must be a nightmare for his colleagues then, huh?
He's not so easy to work with, that's for sure. Partly he has a bad temper. So he will scream at you. So if you mess up at Nvidia, you can pretty much, and you're kind of at the executive level, you can kind of count that you'll be asked to stand up in front of a room full of people and kind of explain in detail everything that went wrong, why you screwed up. And then Jensen will just deliver a withering analysis of your performance. He will dissect you and he will yell at you too. This is hard for a lot of people. It's a certain kind of person who works in Nvidia.
Yeah, but having said that, colleagues who have been given that dressing down or the hairdryer treatment, they've come back and told you that, look, he's ruthless, but his heart is in the right place. One of the colleagues said, and I quote, his level of forgiveness is high.
Well, first of all of those people who sacrificed all that time to work in this difficult environment with a somewhat difficult person now have several $100 million, right? So their loyalty has been repaid massively as this company has become the largest company, the most valuable company on earth, right? So that's a way to get people to like you.
Sure.
But the other thing is that Jensen's actually a very tender person. Most of the time, actually. Most of the time, he's really charming, charismatic, and nice. If something goes wrong for an NVIDIA executive or employee, he's the first person there to offer help. He pays for his employees' medical bills. He's a generous employer. Even mid-level managers get a lot of stock compensation. So they pay well, and he can be very compassionate and understanding. And he never really wants anyone to leave. I remember somebody told me one anecdote of a guy who just chronically kept screwing up, and he got demoted, I think, twice. But Jensen wouldn't fire the guy because he just needed him to show, I think, even to the organization that, even if you mess up here, we reward, as an organization, we reward loyalty here. You'll get demoted, but we won't fire you. And they have a very high retention rate of employees, especially for a Silicon Valley firm. People don't leave. People, their kids are working at Nvidia who grew up there. So Jensen's kids work for Nvidia. So this is pretty unusual for Silicon Valley, which tends to have extremely high turnover. Kind of like, it's almost like Jensen has created, I would describe it as a cult or like a religion around himself. I don't want to say cult because it's not abusive, but it's like a religion. And he's like the prophet, right? He's the prophet who makes predictions about the future. He's the seer. And his employees follow him like they would follow him out the window of a skyscraper. They really would. They would just die for him, as Jens Horstman said. It's because he kind of rules with this combination of love and to some extent anger, but also because he's a visionary. And not only that, his visions mostly come true. And if you're around, if you're standing near Jensen when one of his visions come true, you make a lot of money.